Hi there, my name is Diane, and I'm recording this to tell a little bit more about my experience working for Darragh MacAnthony's MRI. I worked for MRI in 2006 and 2007. The reason I'm recording this really is I started a blog talking about my experiences working for them and why I started the blog in the first place. I'm a very busy mum, I'm a working mum, and I just don't have time to update the blog, and I get messages pretty much every single day to the blog all these years later asking for the stories, everything okay, how's it going, did I ever get paid? The answer to that is no, I never got paid. So I thought I'd do it as a little video instead, so I can do this weekly as a video and just tell the whole story basically. I'm not on here because I want to see my face on screen. It's the last thing I want really. I don't like to see my face on screen. I'm a very private person. I have a skin condition called rosacea, so I really don't want to be on screen, but this is a story that has to be told. I want people to know about Darragh's business practices. As I say, I'm still getting emails to the blog every single day, pretty much still, all these years later. I started it in 2007 or 2008 after I resigned from MRI. 10 years down the line, people are still Googling Darragh MacAnthony scam and MRI scam. So, here I am. So do bear with me. This isn't something I'm used to doing, as you can probably tell from the quality of the video. So I'm just going to be reading some of the facts here. So basically, I started the blog because I worked for MRI. I was their outstanding salesperson of the year in 2006. It was a very big company, hundreds of staff in lots of countries, and I was the salesperson of the year. Despite that, not just me, but many members of staff were not paid what we're owed. We're on a commission-only basis. And Darragh MacAnthony, basically, he stopped paying his staff. MRI stopped paying their staff. And that's why I started the blog. Now, it's easy to say, I wasn't paid, blah, blah, especially if you're on commission only. But I actually took a court case out against MRI. And I won the court case. So let me just get some facts. I'm just going to be reading these for you. So basically, on the 29th of September in 2011, a judge ruled in my favour. This was a court case in Spain. It had taken years to come to court. And he ruled in my favour that I was owed €157,000, 776 and 32 cents plus interest, plus legal fees. So in total, that's over €250,000. So again, just to reiterate that was €157,776, 32 cents, that Darragh MacAnthony didn't pay me in commission. Now, imagine that. Basically, that's stolen. Darragh MacAnthony's MRI stole that money from me. And a judge ruled that in my favour. Darragh MacAnthony was going to put defence forward. MRI were going to have a defence there, but their solicitor didn't turn up. Now, in a Spanish court, both sides get assigned a court official. So I was given a court official, and Darragh MacAnthony's side were given a court official. And I'm not entirely sure what they do, but the court official for MRI side basically told my court official that their solicitor didn't turn up to court because he hadn't been paid, which obviously I found rather ironic, rather funny, in fact. And so it was a pretty open and closed case. I had all the paperwork to prove all these sales, and the deposits had gone through. So yes, he ruled in my favour. Now, that was back in 2011, and the main question I ask is, have I been paid? No, I was never paid that. I'll tell you the reason shortly. And another question is, well, why weren't you paid? If you were owed that, surely they had to pay you. Well, it had taken so long for the court case to actually come to court that by the time it did, MRI pretty much shut up their operations. All the money had been taken out of MRI. I wonder where that went. Darragh MacAnthony is the owner, so maybe a little clue there. And so there was no money left in the company. So there was no way I was going to get paid by MRI because there's no money left in the company there. And another question I get asked a lot, actually I'm just backtracking a bit here, is people say, well, why were you working for them? If you weren't getting paid, why did you not just leave? And that is a really good question. And the answer is because you owed so much money, and you know that if you leave, you'll never get paid it, and you just hang in there, hoping that you'll get paid. And it's naive and it's stupid, and so many of us did it. When I first moved to Bulgaria, when I first started working for MRI in Bulgaria, there's a guy there called Darren who'd been working for MRI in Spain. And he said to me, you'll never get paid. And I was kind of like, well, you know, you've been working for a year and you're still working for them. So how can that be? So I just didn't believe it. And none of us did. None of us believed it. And it turned out to be true. So initially I was getting paid to start off with, you know, dribs and drabs. And that's what keeps you going. You get paid dribs and drabs. And you'll think you get paid. Now, I'm telling my story for me as an employee. Well, I wasn't an employee. We're all self-employed. They could drop us the drop of a hat if they wanted to, and that's what happened to a lot of people. But I'm also going to be telling the story of clients and things that happened to clients, and lies that were told to clients unknowingly by staff. I have to say, we all fell for the Darragh MacAnthony story. We were told lots of things that we have no reason to question as sales staff in Bulgaria. Why would we? You know, Darragh's name was over the door. Why would we question what we're told by our managers and by the directors? Because it was all so credible. The journalist, John, I've forgotten his surname now. John Stapleton did a video, an interview with Darragh MacAnthony, you know, an investigative journalist, and we all believed everything we're told, and there was no reason not to, and a lot of it turned out to be lies, especially the you will get paid part. So just a couple more facts. So still not being paid. Just out of interest, at the time, Darragh MacAnthony was actually listed in the Times rich list. So he wasn't paying his staff, and he was in the Times rich list at the time. You know, where was he getting his money from? We were all earning the money for him. Outstanding person of the year. So I'm just going through my blog here just to see what I should tell you. Now, I sold over 18 million euros worth of property while I worked for Darragh MacAnthony MRI. Over 18 million's worth of property. So I helped him to become a multimillionaire, and he rewarded me by not paying me what I was owed. He rewarded me in another way, which I'll tell you about shortly. An email. Also, yeah, when I resigned, I had proof of what I was owed. I kept all the paperwork, I kept all my emails from my clients, I kept in touch with my clients, I knew when they paid the deposits, and we were due to get paid after our client paid the deposit. So after I resigned, I was then sent an email saying that MRI, their final offer was they were going to pay me 17,000 euros. So, you know, I was owed over 150,000 euros as ruled by a judge. And their final offer to me was 17,000 euros. So not even, you know, just a fraction of what I was owed. They later denied when it came to the court case that I was owed anything at all. So they'd said they'd agreed that they owed me money, 17,000 euros was the final offer, and then final offer, awful. I said that's pretty much what it was, awful. And then they later denied they owed me any money whatsoever. So that's just, you know, the discrepancies you get with them. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit more here. Oh yes. I was sent a threatening letter by Carter Rock, because obviously by the time, you know, I was owed lots of money, and they offered me 17,000 euros as a settlement. I wasn't happy with that, so I contacted Darragh MacAnthony and MRI. I said, listen, I'm not happy about that. I'm not going to settle for that. Pay me what I'm owed. I'm quite happy to go to the press about it. They then sent me a threatening letter from a company called Carter Rook, saying that I was blackmailing MRI and Darragh MacAnthony, and that I better back off pretty sharpish, otherwise they're going to take me to court. They also wrote in the letter that I didn't have any documentary and factual evidence, and that should I get some, I should reply, and they would reinstigate a constructive dialogue. Now, obviously, once I did win the court case, I got back in touch with Carter-Ruck, but of course I didn't hear anything back. Surprise, surprise. Now, let me just go down and see if there's anything else here that you need to know. Now, I've just got a few things here that I will read out. Obviously, after I left MRI, I knew that I wasn't alone in being owed money. I'll come into client side about things a bit in a few more videos. So I contacted people via Facebook. There was a Facebook group at the time for ex-employees, and just got in touch with people privately. There was no need for anyone to lie at all. It was just a private communication, just asking if people were owed money and if they were interested in taking them to court as well. So we had a class court action against him. And these were the replies that I received. Some of the replies. Yeah, they haven't paid me a penny, even though Darragh himself emailed me and said he will look into it. And it's fair to say that after 7 months, I have given them plenty of time and been more than patient in waiting for what I'm owed. That was one reply, so I'm not going to give people's names here. And one replied saying they owe me 140k. Someone else saying, I'm owed approximately €5,000 from this company. I was offered a settlement in August of €983, which I accepted, but I've received nothing since, and they refused to answer my calls and emails. Another one says, I left MRI due to family reasons. My father took unwell in 2007, and I chose to return to the UK. I then asked what procedure to follow with regards to my outstanding commission payment, as I was due approximately between 120 to 160,000 euros. I'll just cut this short, blah, blah, blah. When I heard nothing, I passed me on to Dominic Pickering, who is very unhelpful and aggressive. I experienced that myself. He demanded that I travel to Spain to sit in a meeting with him, Darragh, Michael Ligon. I refused, as I would not subject myself to being bullied. I informed them at that point of my father's death and offered to meet them in London in their UK office, to which they refused. So they basically said to this guy, okay, come and meet us and we'll discuss this, but you've got to come to Spain. Now, I was offered the same. Come to Spain and we'll talk about this. It wasn't quite, in a conciliatory tone of voice as I've just said it there. It was basically, you want anything, you come to us, you come to Spain. It was pretty threatening. I know someone who did go to Spain, and they were threatened and bullied. And I'm quite a strong woman, but at that stage, I couldn't face it. I just couldn't face it. Here's some more. It says here, waiting to sign for an apartment that I was given for top sales in 2007. Everything was fine with the transfer of title, even getting a confirmation email. Yesterday morning, the transfer would be in a couple of days. 3 hours later, I got a call saying that you're not getting the apartment. No explanation, goodbye. I've got a signed contract, fully legal in Bulgaria, with all the details correct on it, but they say they won't honour it. So this is basically a member of staff who won in a competition. There were lots of competitions all the time, incentives, and they won an apartment. It was in Bulgaria. No skin off Darragh's nose, or MRI's nose. They were earning a lot of money. And he won an apartment fair and square in a competition, and it wasn't honoured. Just says it all. This is how they treat people. Another one here. I accepted the €1,500 they offered me, even though the true figure would be more like 50,000, because I thought that was the best I was going to get. They drained all the fight out of me. Someone says they actually even owe me the commission on my own apartment I bought with them. Now, again, lots of people are talking about the sales staff, saying how awful they were, and a lot of them were. I will be talking about some of the sales staff in these videos. But most of us were just genuine. Lots of sales staff bought apartments from MRI, and this is a member of staff who bought an apartment from MRI, and they didn't even get the commission on their own apartment. It's just how business was done. And then I've got an email here, not an email, a contact from Facebook, and they told me the last contact we had was from Dominic Pickering saying that no ex-MRI will be getting commission. And that basically sums it up. A decision was made. No commission was going to be paid out to anybody. I'm just going to finish this by saying, I don't have the email in front of me. Let me just see if I can pull this out so I can read it verbatim to you, of Darragh MacAnthony's response when I resigned. No, he didn't care. Fair enough. He was the owner of MRI. Why would he care if somebody resigned? he didn't. I was salesperson of the year, and he still didn't care that I resigned. But how can that be? You know, salesperson of the year. I'd sold so much property. I'd earned him so much money, and you know, he didn't. He really didn't care. I'm just desperately trying to find this email so I can read it out for you verbatim. Sorry, I know you're taking your time at watching this video. Basically, I'm going to take the bit out that I've got written down here because I don't want to misquote it, because everything I'm telling here is the truth. It can all be verified. Everything in here, I'm not making any false allegations. Every single thing that I'm going to tell you here is the truth. So I just want to get the bit, because this basically summed it up. I do beg your pardon. Sorry, you can see that I'm not used to making videos. Oh, here it is. Okay, his words were, so this is from a longer email that I've got, that was the communication between my manager and director and Darragh MacAnthony. And basically he wanted to know why the email was being sent to him, because he wouldn't normally hear about resignations. And I will, in the next video, I'll pull out the full email and I'll read it out and show you a copy of it as well. And basically his reply was, "Fuck her, stupid, ungrateful bitch." And that was his reply. So he owed me all that money. I'd earned him an awful lot of money, and his response was, "Fuck her, stupid, ungrateful bitch." I guess I was supposed to be grateful for having worked for him, earned him all that money, and not being paid. And just one final thing, actually, before I go, the reason for, you know, my resignation in the end is apparent. You know, I wasn't being paid. I wasn't happy with the way it was being run and the business practices. And it's kind of like, well, you know, I've been holding on and holding on and holding on, hope we're going to get paid and things are going to work out. And like everyone, we all were. I was in Italy at the time, and we're all holding out month after month after month, thinking next month we'll get paid. You know, my manager was reassuring me, "You'll definitely get paid." The directors were reassuring us, "You'll definitely get paid." And the final straw for me, I was owed all this money. You have to pay your own rent, pay your own petrol costs, everything. You know, I've got to pay it. I'm buying coffees for my clients because that's kind of what I want to do. And you know what I was paid? My final month, €826 was my final payment. And that was the final straw. It wasn't even enough to cover my outgoings, looking after MRI's clients even. €826 I was paid. You know, I was owed €157,000, and that's what I was paid. So I'm just going to sign off for now. I'm hoping the next video might be a bit better. Maybe the quality might even be a bit better. I'll post it on the blog. I think I'm going to disable responses down below, because I've had experience with Darragh MacAnthony and I've got a good inkling of what will happen if there's comments enabled below on the video. But do feel free to get in touch via the blog. I'm going to put the blog address on here. But also just Google Darragh MacAnthony. It's up there on page 1. And you can read a bit more about the story. I'll come on. I'm hoping to do it every Monday. Come on here, because it's taken a fraction of the time it takes me to write. And yeah, please continue with the story, and please do get in touch with the blog with any comments at all and your own experiences. All right, thanks for listening. Take care now. Bye bye.